Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Auburn Undercover podcast, the recruiting roundup. Back after a couple of weeks. Jason, didn't have a whole lot really to talk about because Auburn didn't have any home games, no recruits on campus, of course. So took a little bit of time off, focused on the actual games and stuff. But we're back. Big opportunity awaits this weekend, I think, on so many different levels. I think I wrote that in my story this morning, or saying it to someone, I don't know. But this is such a huge opportunity for this Auburn team. It's such a huge opportunity for this Auburn staff, such a huge opportunity to showcase to recruits that you're there, that you can win these games, you can get over the hump, you can beat the best teams in the country, you can compete at that level. And the Auburn atmosphere, it's always known as selling itself. Home game, night game, Cam Newton's jersey retirement, a guy that a bunch of these guys grew up watching and will love to probably have a chance to try and meet. Just a huge opportunity on so many different levels for Auburn this weekend.
It is, and it's kind of one of those where you go, opportunity to you won't get over the hump if you win one game like this, but it'll sure feel that way at least for a moment. But it's sooner or later you do have to win one of these, and you got to win one for the program itself, for the season, but you got to win one for recruiting too. And I think look, they've given themselves opportunities to do it. Can you go get over the hump and win one of these games? And again, the atmosphere is going to be great. That's one thing we know. It's going to be Saturday night. It's Auburn, Georgia.
Great weather.
It's going to be awesome. And so, yes, it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. Now, again, you'll have an opportunity to showcase your program. Can you win one of these games? Have fans celebrating, have the players celebrating. It has a huge impact, excuse me, on individual kids. Winning and losing individual games doesn't matter, but the moment itself matters, and that could be big Saturday night.
Yeah, capturing that moment, capturing that momentum a little bit. One of the guys that we're going to be watching really closely going into the weekend is Lasiah Jackson, the Stanford cornerback commit. He's going to be in on his official visit. Visited for, I think it was Ball State. Yeah, he was here for Ball State. And Auburn made a huge move in his recruitment at that point. Looked like a flip was almost inevitable or getting close to that level.
Yeah.
He'll be back for the full weekend. Feel like Auburn has a really good chance to get something maybe done this weekend or get it really close with a good visit for him.
Yeah, no, really athletic guy, very versatile. These kind of players that they like. We seen guys that are playing those kind of roles on this secondary right now, and so Lasiah Jackson is one of those guys that, I think continues to climb up a board. And look at a guy like that. We'll see what it looks like in terms of the class, how deep this thing gets. You never really know this, especially, it doesn't feel early, but it is early when you start talking about now the numbers of the guys you're going to get. But adding a guy like this would be a really talented addition to the Auburn class if you could get him on board.
Yeah, other guy that's expected in this weekend for an official visit, Caden Johnson, KK, son of Spencer Johnson, former Auburn defensive lineman who you covered, committed to Texas A&M. Interesting player, plays quarterback for his high school team, big and athletic though, 6'6", hovering around like 220-ish now, but feel like he can grow and get bigger. Committed to A&M in the summer as a tight end. Target for Auburn at that position as well. What Auburn does at tight end this class is kind of one of the more interesting and more fascinating watches to see. We know that they're going to get at least one guy because they have one committed in Kentrell White. Whether or not they decide to take a guy like a Caden Johnson, that's what we're really kind of watching. We know they're going to go to the portal to replace Brandon Frazier and kind of reshape that room a little bit. But what Auburn does at tight end and how Auburn is kind of, I don't know the right phrasing, how they're feeling about Caden Johnson coming out of the weekend will be interesting to watch. And I don't have the answer for people. I don't know what necessarily to expect. It's something that I need to learn and I need to see kind of play out this weekend.
Yeah, and a lot of it may depend on what he looks like when he gets here. Is he legitimately, if he's 6'6" and he shows up and he's 235 and you go, this guy's got a chance to right away, day one, be a guy that improves your room, then you might take two, because that's a position right now where you look at it and go, there's not a whole lot there for Auburn at the moment. When the freshmen are not quite there. Been kind of waiting on those guys, bringing a Maryland transfer, and he's playing a role. Brandon Frazier's been good for this team, but obviously he's going to be gone after this year, so you're going to need some help at tight end. And so wouldn't be shocked at all if this is a guy that looks the part, they know athletically it could be, then you might take that second guy at the tight end spot.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger positional needs in this class as a whole, encompassing the transfer portal. Brandon Frazier's gone, Tate Johnson is gone, Preston Howard has one more year remaining, I believe. Obviously, you got Ryan G. and Hollis Davidson in there, but we haven't seen Hollis at all after he was suspended in the preseason. Ryan has only played sparingly early. So that's a position that will look a lot different next
Yeah.
year, that room as a whole. Jason, some other official visitors, you'll get Nico Heppy, your commit from New Zealand. That's going to be the most expensive official visit
Yeah,
that Auburn
yes.
probably has
In
to
a while,
spend.
at least.
Yeah,
Yes.
that plane ticket is going to cost a good bit if I had to imagine, but he'll be in. Some other official visitors expected in as well. Going in later in the week, we'll know a lot more of guys that are expected in, but some names that I think you'll see: Deshaun Spencer, the Duke wide receiver commit from down there
And a
in
really good year.
Saraland.
Having a really good year right
Yes,
now.
he is. Could see Jay Lamar, the Georgia running back commit, although there's some drama there as he's apparently no longer a part of his high school football team. But could see him in. I'm trying to think of some other names.
Obviously, a lot of guys that currently committed.
Yes, your commits. I think it'll be a loaded 2027 group. That's pretty obvious. I
Yes.
mean, we've seen them get those guys in, time out. The Wells brothers, what happens with them?
Still kind of waiting, right?
Yeah.
We're waiting on those guys. If you get them back on campus this weekend, that could be a big deal for Auburn, especially. I mean, Texas is, that's kind of the one you look at going, what happens because of the Texas commitment? Obviously, they've got their own issues too. It might open the door a little bit more, even though we felt pretty good about Auburn for a while. Just kind of, it's gone silent, so we're kind of waiting to see what happens there.
Yeah, it feels like you just need to get them back.
Yep.
You need to get them back. You need to showcase them why they were so close to flipping in the first place. Like, hey, remember how much you loved it here for the Ball State game? Here's Georgia.
Yeah.
Here's something so much better. Tank Jones, does he show up? The 5-star edge, committed to Oregon from St. Paul's. We talked about this, I think, after South Alabama game. Maybe it was who doesn't show up might be a little more telling than who does.
Yeah, especially this week where
Yes.
you're the big game in town. This is the opportunity. Yes, I think you'll get a much better idea of where Auburn stands with some of these guys when you figure out who's on campus this weekend. This will tell us a lot.
Yeah, and then another thing, you mentioned the commits. It never hurts to get Braylon Womack on campus. It never hurts to get Jace Matthews on campus.
Correct.
Never hurts to get those guys on campus. Jaquez Wilkes, not really overly concerned about him, and he'll be here every weekend. So it's
Correct.
those Mississippi guys.
Yep.
A guy like a Peyton Falzone, can he make the trip down? The more you can get those guys who can't make it to every game.
It not only for them, but it helps to solidify a class because the more those guys get to talk to each other, spend time with each other, that bond, that connection is a big deal in a recruiting class. So yeah, that'll be something to watch. Get those guys back together again, get them all back on campus, and look, you've got some opportunities here in the second half of the season, but this feels like one of those moments because of everybody else around you, because it's Georgia, that you have a chance to really amp things up this weekend.
Yes, so we'll see kind of how things play out, Have more later in the week, like I said, at auburnundercover.com. Visit list, probably do an insider of some sort, probably do biggest visitors. More in terms of podcast stuff. We'll probably talk about it on Thursday Night Live. We'll see what Thursday Night Live looks like this week because Patrick is going to be out of town, our wonderful producer. We won't have a sexy pick of the week since he won't be here.
Not to give it to us on the way. Yeah.
Kent State plays UMass, so Patrick's probably already eyeing that one down heavily, if I had to imagine. But we'll have more recruiting news on Thursday Night Live as well. Have our usual podcast this week. So appreciate everyone tuning in for the recruiting roundup, and we'll catch you guys next week.